showing. My video's up. Yeah, we'll just leave. I don't know why the video is acting weird for you, but
I mean, if you want me to turn it back on, I can turn it back on, and we'll see what happens.
oh yeah, you can
I
turn it
don't
back
know
on if
why
you
the
want.
video was acting weird for you, but I mean, if you want me to turn it back on, I can turn it back on, and we'll see what happens.
Oh yeah, you can.
I
Well, let's see what it looks like. All right, looks good.
Oh, hey, that looks awesome.
All right, cool. Thank you. All right, so yeah, your volume I think kind of fixed itself a little bit, so
All right.
sounds better than it did. All right, so let me bring up the matches here for NXT. All right, let me know whenever you're ready to start talking about the matches.
I'm good to go, man.
All right, cool. So first up, I haven't actually, I've only kind of caught highlights of NXT since I usually end up like working that day. I know some of the build up, but first up, and I don't know if this is actually going to be the match order. We have Austin Aries versus Baron Corbin, and I kind of think just based on how Austin Aries debuted or got attacked, I should say, that he'll probably end up winning.
Yeah, I would agree with that, especially because he's the new hotness in NXT, and typically, in NXT, when they want someone to make a really big splash with their debut and debut with an impact, he'll get a win over an established guy like Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin, he is a guy that can thrive in wins. He can thrive in losses because his skill set is improving so much, and I'm really starting to enjoy the guy. When he first started, he was not that good, but he's really, really grown as a performer, and I'm really liking him. But I got to think that Austin Aries is going to win here.
Yeah, and then they can build a feud out of it and have Baron Corbin win at some other point, or put him back in the title picture whenever they want. Because he was in the title picture for a second when it was him and Sami Zayn and Boa Joe going after like the number one contender spot.
Yeah, and I have a feeling he will be the NXT champion. It won't be too long before he's there because he's got the look, he's got the charisma, he's improving in the ring on the mic by leaps and bounds. So I think he'll be there shortly. But I want to agree with you on not watching a lot of NXT lately. Uh, I usually skip it and then watch it in like 3 or 4 episode binges because let's be honest, it just ever since Neville and Sami Zayn and Sasha Banks and Charlotte and Becky left, it just had the quality just hasn't been as good.
Yeah, I
Um,
kind of agree. I usually will watch like two or three at a time, just because they're only an hour. It's not like watching Raw or something like that.
yeah,
But I'm going with Austin Aries here. Baron Corbin, I think he'll be maybe champion after. Well, we'll get to the championship match, but he'll be champion at some point.
yeah, definitely. And he's like I said, he's good. He's getting a lot better. I really like him. I think he's a really good heel. One of my favorite things that he's done was in NXT London. He was fighting Apollo Crews, and he yelled at him, "Go back to Ring of Honor," which was awesome because Apollo Crews has never been in Ring of Honor. So it was just a really funny, really good heel uh, moment by Baron Corbin, and I think this will be a good match. Austin Aries is fantastic. Baron Corbin can put on good matches, so I'm excited for this one.
All right, cool. Next up, we have the Revival, Dash and Dawson against American Alpha, Jason Jordan and Chad Gable, and it's for the Tag Team Championships. And I think just with how over American Alpha is, I see them winning.
Dude, American Alpha is so good. Chad Gable is the second coming of Kurt Angle. He is, beyond a shadow of a doubt. He is probably the best technical wrestler. Now that Daniel Bryan is gone, I would say that Chad Gable is the best technical wrestler in the WWE system at this point. And take nothing away from Jason Jordan, too. Jason Jordan has been on fire. I remember when Jason Jordan and Ty Dillinger were together, I was like, these guys stink. They're not good. They suck. They have no charisma. But as soon as Jason Jordan kind of separated himself from Ty Dillinger and got put with Chad Gable, I love him. I
And I also really like that they made it a build up to where they initially didn't like each other, or at least Jason Jordan didn't like Chad Gable.
yeah,
And now I think it's probably like I don't like probably the most over tag team in NXT. Maybe Enzo and Cass might be a little more over. I don't really know, but
Yeah. Well, listen, I've got thoughts on what's going to happen with Enzo and Cass after WrestleMania. I think they're going to be called up on the Raw after, so that would definitely put um, Jordan and Gable, American Alpha, as the most over tag team. And let's be honest, the Revival, the Dash and the Daw, they're not really that great.
No,
Um,
they're okay. I mean, like when they won the championships, I was actually like surprised that they won the championship because just a couple months before that, they were kind of
they were dumb.
in the spot where you would see like Los Matadores. They were just if it was a like a multi-team tag match, they were like the one of the people that were either going to get like eliminated first or take the pin
Yeah, it
kind
was
of thing.
their championship win was very similar to Blake and Murphy, where they just kind of won them out of nowhere. And it kind of makes sense now with them being sort of transitional champions until we can get uh, Jordan and Gable with the belts. But Dawson and Dash, they're not bad. They're just not anything special.
Yeah,
Whereas American Alpha just has it in spades. So I definitely think, and that was my cat just jumping on my desk. I definitely think that Jordan and Gable are going to win, and I'm going to mark so hard when they do.
yeah, it should be great. And I think this is actually I think Takeover is tomorrow night, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll be working, so I'll probably have to catch it after, like catch the rerun or either catch it like halfway through.
Yeah, I'm going to be catching it. I'll probably watch it on Saturday.
Yeah, same thing with WrestleMania. I'll probably miss like the pre-show and stuff like that. But
Well, I won't, because I'm going to be there.
okay, cool. Yeah, I mean like my cousin of it like at like one point wanted to go, and then just like tickets to the event and like having to fly there and hotel would probably just have cost too much.
Oh yeah, the tickets were an arm and a leg. I've never been to a WrestleMania before, so we saved up. That's why we didn't go to Night of Champions when it was here, and we said, you know what, let's use the money for that on WrestleMania. So that's what we did.
Yeah, I mean if they ever have a WrestleMania here, I would definitely go to it. I don't know if they ever will. I don't think the Pepsi Center is big enough really to like hold kind of because usually WWE seeks out like the places where they can set records essentially.
Yeah.
All right, next up we have Apollo Crews versus Elias Sampson. I this feud or match, I don't know really know where it came from. I know they've done the Elias Sampson drifter angle for a while now.
So dumb. It is so dumb. It is such a
I've
terrible.
only actually seen a couple of the matches as like this character, and I don't really get it, and I don't, and maybe because I've missed some NXT, so I don't know where the if it's a feud or if it's just kind of like a match they put together to fill space. But
I'm a couple of NXTs behind. I was going to watch those today, actually. As far as I know, it's just a match, and Elias Sampson has just been, running roughshod over the jobbers of NXT, as it were. So, good guy Apollo Crews has to put him down, but it's the gimmick, and you're so right when you say you just don't get it. I don't understand what it's supposed to be. Is he supposed to be like a vagrant that just comes in and is mysterious? Because that's dumb. I want something a little more concrete. And he's
and NXT doesn't really need these kinds of characters. Like, I mean, this is like a character you would probably see in like the Attitude Era, maybe. And it's with like the modern era or whatever they're calling it now. You don't really don't see gimmicks like that as often.
yeah, and
I
that's
mean, Tyler Breeze is kind of an exception because he's like it's like the supermodel gimmick, but we kind of know he's not a supermodel. Same with Fandango, we know he's not a.
but the difference. Okay, so a lot of people say like, oh, that gimmick will never get over on the main roster, and I think that's BS. I think that's a stupid thing to say. I think Tyler Breeze makes his gimmick work because of the things he says in the ring and the way he acts. Like he is so good at being Prince Pretty. And the difference between that and Elias Sampson is that with the Prince Pretty gimmick, that is something that is so easy to hate, and it's so kind of ingrained within human culture to dislike someone that has something that we don't, right? So you can kind of latch on to that. But with the Drifter, it's like what I don't even know what's going on here.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's like I don't really have a reason to hate him. I don't have a reason to like him either. It's kind of just kind of in the middle.
exactly.
And maybe that's the point. I don't really know, but
Yeah, I mean, who knows? There could be more story coming out of this. I think Apollo Crews is going to win, but I'm more interested in the implications of the match than the match itself. I would love to see Apollo Crews turn heel. because as a face, he's just kind of been he's been generic face number 17. Very similar to when The Rock debuted in '96. He was just smiley face, bland, good guy. And I would love Apollo Crews to turn heel, get a little more edge to him, and really show some personality. So I'm going to go with Apollo Crews with a hope that there's some shenanigans happen for an Apollo Crews heel turn.
Yeah, I'll go with that as well. All right, so after that, we have. I wrote down Apollo for. We have Sami Zayn versus Suki Nakamura. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that
I,
correctly.
I think the U is silent, like in Asuka. I think it's just Shinsuke Nakamura.
All right, cool. Yeah, we'll go with that. So Sami Zayn and Nakamura. So is Sami Zayn like main roster now, or
Yes.
okay? So if that's the case, I see him losing this match.
Yeah, I think he's going to quote unquote, put over Nakamura as much as he needs to be put over. Have you watched any New Japan Pro Wrestling, Mike?
Not really. I mean, I've seen like clips and stuff like that, but that's pretty much about it.
So the only New Japan I watched was Wrestle Kingdom 10, whatever the one that just happened a few months ago. I think it was in December. I watched that, and I that after that I kind of went to seek out a few more Shinsuke Nakamura matches, and the dude is good. He is he is really 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 good. So I think Sami Zayn and Shinsuke Nakamura are gonna put on a clinic and just tear the house down.
Yeah,
I do agree with you that Zayn is probably going to put over Nakamura just because Zayn is on his way out, and traditionally in the wrestling business, you go out on your back. Um,
normally. I mean, there's been times where that hasn't happened,
yeah,
but oh yeah, I'm going with Sami Zayn on this one. Next up, we have Bayley versus Asuka for the Divas Championship. And I don't know how close Bayley is to being called up. If she's close, I can see her losing, but I don't really know if they're planning on bringing her into the main roster yet.
yeah.
I mean,
This
she's been the champion since August, so I think it's probably closer to being called up than not.
Yeah, I think this is a tough one to predict because Asuka has been on a winning streak. I don't think she's lost a match yet that hasn't been, you know, count out or disqualification or some weirdness. I'm pretty sure she's never taken a clean loss. So um, it's kind of hard to predict because you want Asuka to win because Asuka's a badass, but also Bailey is amazing, and I think you're right. I think Bailey is closer to a call up than we think she is.
Yeah, I
Or that
wouldn't
they're
be
letting her.
surprised if she loses like the belt here and then makes an appearance at WrestleMania. Not actually wrestling, but like debuts at WrestleMania doing something.
Yeah, or is on the Raw after
The Raw
WrestleMania.
after would probably be more likely, but
Yeah, because remember Neville debuted on the Raw after WrestleMania last year. Um, so I could see Bailey and Enzo and Cass coming up on the Raw after, so that makes sense. But at the same time, I don't want to see Bailey lose the title because she's freaking Bailey. She's awesome. She is so good.
yeah, and I don't know if she would get called up to the main roster, what her place on the main roster would be. Would they put her in the title picture right away? Would they have her kind of like in the Becky Lynch spot where, I mean, we'll get to her when we get to WrestleMania, but I mean,
Let's
so I would kind of like
get
her just to
Bailey into a
stay
joke.
around in NXT for a little longer.
Yeah, at this point, I used to say a lot. Oh, I can't wait to see him on the main roster. I can't wait to see her on the main roster. But really, right now, I say, man, I hope it's a long time until any of them get called up because as soon as they're called up, they're misused. Look at Tyler Breeze. Look at what's been happened to. If I say, hey, look what happened to Tyler Breeze on the roster, you'd say, wait, what happened to Tyler Breeze on the main
Or
roster?
you would be like, Tyler Breeze is actually on the main roster? What?
Yeah, I'd say exactly. Nothing has happened with him except for jobbing out to Dolph Ziggler for a couple of matches. Um, so, whatever. But I think, geez, this is a tough one. I'm going to go with Asuka here. I'm just going to hedge
I
my
think I'm
bets
going to
on.
go with that too. I mean, at the last pay per view, I was where it was her and Nia Jax. I was kind of surprised that she won because I thought she was probably on the brink of getting called up, but then they've kept her around since then. So,
Yeah.
but I'll go with her as well. Back to our next match, or our main event. We have Finn Balor and Samoa Joe, a rematch from the London pay per view, or not pay per view, but event. Um, This is weird because if Samoa Joe loses, it makes him just look kind of foolish, or not foolish, but it makes him look bad because he's would have lost twice to Finn Balor.
Yeah, and he's been hyping himself up. I didn't have to call NXT; they called me. That whole thing.
And
Uh,
also, it makes the entire thing with Baron Corbin and Sami Zayn also kind of pointless if he just goes through all that trouble of wrestling. I think he wrestling all three of them, then losing to like Sami Zayn or winning against Sami Zayn twice essentially.
yeah.
However you want to say that happened, but so a 2 out of 3 falls match, which took the entire show, would kind of be like negated if he loses.
Which, by the way, let me just say, one of my favorite things about that match was how in the beginning they said, and we're going to have tag team action from this and women's action from that, but then never got to it. And it's just little touches like that that I feel really put that match over the top. But yeah, I think
Yeah,
I
because normally in like 2 out of 3 falls matches, it's like one fall like for each person like really quickly, and then a regular match after that. This felt like it was more like an Iron Man match.
yeah, I really really enjoyed that match. As far as Joe versus Balor goes, Finn Balor has had the title for a very long time.
He's had it, I think, just as long as Bailey's had her title. I think, or
No,
it,
he's had it longer
I
because
think he's had it for a month longer than her because he won it. I think it was like the Fourth of July thing in Japan or whatever it
yeah,
was.
that's when he won it. Um, I don't know. I think I could see Samoa. I'm gonna go with Samoa Joe on here, also
Yep.
because
Yeah, so
also
am I. My logic just being like having him lose 2 of them in a row is kind of, or lose 2 matches to Finn Balor in a row is kind of silly. And also, Finn Balor's had the title for a while. You've got to figure he's getting called up very soon.
yeah.
Maybe, maybe Raw after WrestleMania. I don't know. I don't think
Although
they wanted to be too many people at once. So
yeah, although in interviews he said that he's perfectly happy at NXT, and wants to be in NXT for a while. So maybe him being called up is not as imminent as we think. I don't know, and that's what's kind of hard. It's hard to predict these things because we just don't know.
yeah, and
We're-
also just
yeah,
because he says he wants to be there doesn't mean that Vince doesn't want him on the roster.
right. And if Vince says, "Hey, come into the main roster," it's a very low chance that you're going to say, "Nah, I'm good."
Yeah.
So yeah, I see Samoa Joe winning. I'm going to say that.
All right, and that does it for the takeover. Are you going to takeover as well, or are you just going to WrestleMania?
No, I'm just going to WrestleMania. I tried to get tickets for Takeover and the Hall of Fame panel, but I could not get them. You know how it is when you're trying to get tickets for something that
Or
is
like, yeah, like BlizzCon, like you sit on like the screen, like it's counting down, and as soon as you click like I want to jump in the queue, you're already not getting tickets.
yeah. So it was very difficult. I tried real hard. It was just super tough.
All right, cool. Yeah, I mean, like even though I'm not super excited about this WrestleMania, I think it'll still be a decent WrestleMania,
I
which
think
is we're going to jump into in just a second.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one of the better WrestleManias. I really enjoyed last year's WrestleMania, regardless of what you say about the build to WrestleMania 31, which sucked. And let's remember, it ended with a tug of war over the World Championship title. The build sucked. The build to this WrestleMania has been pretty bad. But if you look at the matches kind of in and of themselves, this WrestleMania is going to be fantastic.
Yeah,
And
there's a couple matches that I kind of don't know where where they came from, and we'll get to those when we get to them. But there's a few matches in here that I think could be really really good.
I agree.
Like for example, we'll talk about this match in a second, but the Intercontinental title, I would have probably rather have seen AJ Styles and Kevin Owens at WrestleMania than on SmackDown.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't see the match. I saw the highlights and it looked like a really good match.
it was.
But I think that would have been better here because now they're doing what they did last year, where it was an Intercontinental title ladder match. I think that was it. Yeah, who was the champion last year before Daniel Bryan won the
It
championship?
was. Who was
I don't know
it?
if it was Wade Barrett. I don't think it was
Was it
him.
Luke Harper? No, it wasn't Luke Harper. Maybe it was vacant. I think it was vacant because Wade Barrett had it, and then he went out on injury. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't recall exactly because I remember he went out on injury initially in a battle royal where the Miz won it and then Ziggler won it. Then Luke Harper had it and then Ziggler had it again. I
I
mean, I don't really know,
I think
but
it was vacant. But as far as that goes, I would have loved to see. the U.S. title via ladder match, and then Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens for the Intercontinental Championship in a straight up singles match. Because
Yeah,
there's
cool.
just something special about singles matches on the at the WrestleMania stage. But whatever, we'll talk about it.
Right. Speaking of the U.S. title, though, our first match, at least according to this, I don't know what the match order will be on Sunday, but we have Kalisto versus Ryback for the WWE United States Championship. And I think we said this before. I don't see how Ryback is as over as he is.
Yeah,
I don't really
especially
know, but
now since he's like in half heel, half face zone. It's like he's going to Kalisto and being like, "I respect you, but I'm a big guy, and the big guy always wins. But I respect you." So it's like I don't know how to feel about this. I mean, I don't think I could be less interested in this match than I already am. Um,
I mean,
but
I don't see them putting a title on Ryback though. So I mean, like they're probably gonna make this kind of like a David and Goliath situation where I think Kalisto will probably win to like build him up a little bit more. But like I said, I don't know where this match got like where it came from.
it came from the big guy Ryback thinking that he should have the title and the focus should be on him. He got new clothes, he's got a new look, a new attitude,
I
and he's
saw that he had new ring gear where it was like not using the like singlet anymore.
no, he looks just like Goldberg.
Yeah, no, I flipped it. I flipped onto like I saw a picture of him really quickly, and I was like, when did Goldberg come back? And then I realized it was Ryback.
Yeah, uh, I think Kalisto's gonna win also. But furthermore, it's just like why you have you don't. I mean, there are a lot of matches here that make sense and a lot that don't. And this is one of the ones that doesn't make sense, but it's on the pre-show, so that's
Like
fine.
I would say one of the matches I'm most looking forward to at first made like no sense at all, and we'll get to that in a second. But next up we have the Total Divas. So we have Brie Bella, Paige, Natalia, and Alicia Fox, and Eva Marie versus Bad and Blonde. So Lana, Summer Rae, Naomi, Emma, and Tamina. Okay, I mean it's good to see Emma in a
Yeah.
WrestleMania match, but I don't know. I mean I saw like parts of I think it was Lana talking like to Paige, and like Lana's accent's gotten really weird.
Yeah, it has. I
Or I
don't know
mean,
what they're
it's
doing
I
with it.
think Kofi Kingston said in an interview, he said if you're going to basically like I don't think he uses his Jamaican accent anymore,
No.
but he basically said it was like one of the biggest mistakes he made. This is like I think he was talking to Chris Jericho or something like that. Was going in with this Jamaican character like in mind, and then having a hard time getting out of that character because when he started using his real voice, people were like, "What's going on?"
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think it was bad to do the Russian thing at first. That she could still be Russian but not have a Russian accent. Uh, you know. Um, but I, I don't the funniest thing about this match was on Raw, they were like, okay, it's Team Bad and Blonde, which is a dumb name, but I don't care because if I get to see Summer Rae on my TV, then I'm happy because she is really underrated, I think.
Yeah,
Um,
and it's good to see, like I said, Emma B doing something besides just being NXT.
yeah,
Which I think she should probably end up like if they do give the title to somebody else, I think she would probably be next in line. But see what happens with that NXT match.
yeah. So it's Team Bad and Blonde, 5 members. Team Total Divas, 4 members, and they're like, okay, who's going to be the 5th member? So we're all waiting on this face to come out. Maybe it's going to be Nikki Bella coming back from injury sooner, or it's going to be some other face because they're expecting a face pop for the face team. And who comes out other than quite possibly the most hated person in all of WWE, Eva Marie? It was real funny.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've only seen a few Eva Marie matches, but they weren't particularly good.
No, she's not good. She's not good. It's just funny that it looked like they were expecting a face pop for Eva Marie, but definitely everyone hates her
Yeah,
a lot. So I see I don't know Team Total Divas winning because they have a show called Total Divas that they're trying to get over.
yeah. I know there's more faces on that team than the other team. I suppose. I don't really know. I mean,
Yeah.
I honestly really don't even care. And so Total Divas on that one. Gonna move into another match. This third match, I don't know where this came from either, but we have the Usos versus the Dudley Boys, which I think this will actually be a really good match.
Well, it should have been a triple threat TLC match for the title with the New Day, but it's fine. I'm sure this will be a good match. The Dudleys know how to put on a good match. The Usos know how to put on a good match. It's just a gross misuse of the Dudleys, in my opinion. But it's fine. The Usos are going to win because they're younger, and then nothing will come out of this match because it's just a throwaway match with no story behind it.
All right, I'm gonna skip the next match because that should actually probably be the main event. I've actually heard people think that the Hell in a Cell match might actually close out the show, just to kind of leave people leaving in a better mood than what's going to happen. That was what some people were speculating, but
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like when we go over the main event, I'll tell you about why I think Roman Reigns should close the show.
yeah, that's not what I always think the title should probably go last anyway.
Yeah.
But so down, I think don't really know what order this is actually going to be in, but we have Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar in a no holds barred street fight, which I think is probably the match I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah, this in the Hell in a Cell. I really, really am excited for this match because you got Dean Ambrose, the frickin' probably the most talented person in terms of hardcore matches in the current WWE landscape. And then
Probably the most like the two most over people in the company at this point.
and then you've got Brock Lesnar, who's just awesome at everything he does. And if they're given the time necessary, if they're given 20, 25 minutes, they are going to tear the house down. It will be, they're going to suck all the air out of the building because they're just going to put such a good match on if they're given the time. My only concern I have for this match is the ending, which I feel like the Wyatts are going to get involved and beat up Brock Lesnar and let Dean Ambrose get the win. I think Dean Ambrose is going to get the win. I hope he gets it, quote unquote clean. Obviously, it's not really clean because it's a hardcore match, but
Or clean without any kind of
yeah,
interference
I
or
hope he gets it
anything like
without
that.
interference and he just beats Brock Lesnar without any help. But my gut tells me that the Wyatts are going to interfere.
Interfere and attack Lesnar probably.
Yeah,
Because I know they were good. They were working on that feud. They stopped it to do this, and now maybe they'll finish the Ambrose Lesnar feud and then kind of restart the feud with them.
yeah, that's what it feels like. They're just kind of. It feels like they're not sure what they want to do with the Brock Lesnar Wyatt feud. Like they're constantly pushing the gas, then hitting the brakes, and pushing the gas, then hitting the brakes. So I think this is where we're kind of going to get a full commitment to that feud. But then again, I think it's going to be a while after WrestleMania until we see Brock Lesnar again. Probably not until SummerSlam.
Yeah,
So
I'm hoping if they do something, maybe they do if they do this Wyatt feud, maybe do it the Raw after.
yeah,
So the match is actually, like you said, somewhat clean or clean, like air quotes, because it's a street fight. But I think like Dean Ambrose should probably win because that'll be like his WrestleMania moment is like because him and Reigns found a way to kind of like neutralize Lesnar at Fastlane
yeah.
like temporarily, and now Dean's gonna have to do it on his own. So I think it'll be better, like a better storyline if he wins.
Yeah, and you got to think too. Like at some point, they have to start investing in their younger stars. Right now, they are putting so much emphasis on part timers, Triple H, Brock Lesnar, old people like the Dudleys. At some point, they really have to go all in on a top face. And you can say to yourself, "Oh well, what about Roman Reigns? They're going in on a top face." No, Roman Reigns is not a top face. Top faces don't get mixed reactions. I know John Cena gets him, but John Cena's that is a very different case. Um,
Well, John Cena was getting positive reactions initially, and then people just got tired of it for it happening for
yeah,
like
that
10
was
years in a
after a
row.
long period of time. And
Yeah,
also,
if Roman Reigns has been doing this for like 10 years, the mixed reactions would be like understandable,
yeah,
whatever you want to call it. But
and also if John Cena showed up on WrestleMania, I would give him a face reaction because I know how well he can work. I know how good of a match he can put on, and I'd be excited to see him kind of raise the bar yet again. So I would give John Cena a positive reaction, but I'm not giving that positive reaction for Reigns. So I think they really need to invest in a top baby face. and no one is more ripe for that position than the madman Dean Ambrose.
All right. After this, yeah, we're both predicting Ambrose. I'm assuming. We'll move down to the New Day versus the League of Nations. Another a 3-on-4 handicap match. But that being said, I think the New Day finds a way to win.
Also, this is not a championship match. This is not a title match.
Yeah, this is just a
It's,
handicap match, I
it's a
guess.
battle for supremacy, I think is what they're referring to it as.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think is this coming out of what happened at Fastlane, where they said like Edge and well, it was essentially Edge and Christian talking badly about the New Day, and then talking bad about the League of Nations, and then the New Day kind of siding with Edge and Christian,
Yeah, it
or
all kind of
whatever it was. But
on that, and then over time, the New Day's cut some pretty wicked promos on the League of Nations, and they've had a rivalry going back and forth. Since it's not for the titles, my fear is that the League of Nations is going to win. And that sucks because the League of Nations is the most insignificant stable in WWE in a very long time. I don't want them to win, but I feel like they're going to win.
yeah, and I can also see them winning if maybe they're turning the New Day to be kind of somewhat faces. Maybe having them like take a loss would help that.
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
really know, but
I'm not really a fan of face New Day because it just doesn't work as well. I hope after they're done with the League of Nations, they go back to being heels. Like they're just kind of transitioning heel or face depending on who they're working with.
yeah,
Uh,
if they're fighting heels, they're faces. If they're fighting faces, they're heels. Thing.
right. And I would love for them to kind of their next feud to be with Enzo and Cass, and in that case, they would definitely be the heels because of how over Enzo and Cass are.
All right, so I'll go with League of Nations as well. Moving up, there is also the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. This is a 20-man battle royal. Last year we predicted it would Isda would win, which ended up being the Big Show. But this year, I don't know if there's any kind of storyline that really gives somebody like a boost if they win. I mean, I can kind of see Braun Strowman winning if he's in it.
Yeah, they haven't really announced what the Wyatts are going to be doing, so I could see. I would say Bray actually, because he hasn't done anything in a while, and he could use a little boost. So, I'm going to predict Bray. The only other person I would think maybe Mark Henry, because this is probably going to be his last WrestleMania.
Possibly, and I think they gave kind of Big Show like his win last year is kind of like a, like not like an end of a career thing, but kind of like a you're not going to win the world title again, but this is like the closest
Yeah,
thing we can give you.
thanks for helping.
Yeah. So Mark Henry would be a good choice. If it is down to let's say Bray and Braun Strowman, I can see Strowman like eliminating himself to like appease Bray or give him like I don't know exactly how it would work,
No,
but
yeah, that's true. To kind of show some dissension in the ranks. Um,
or
yeah,
just Braun Strowman like just goes over the top rope just so Bray could win.
yeah.
But I mean, it doesn't really matter because nothing really like comes out of this anyway. I think Cesaro won the first one, and then essentially nothing happened after that.
Yeah, it's basically the Andre the Johnson Memorial Battle Royal means absolutely nothing, and it's just the way I see it is them saying, "Here, we'll give you a win because you've been working hard, so win this Battle Royal."
After this, or you don't know the order, but AJ Styles against Chris Jericho. I think this is the third time then.
Uh, Fourth.
Fourth, okay. Which is why it should have been Kevin Owens and AJ Styles, but um, since it is WrestleMania, I don't see Jericho winning.
No, I think it's
There's no
pretty
point to
guaranteed.
have him to have like they gave him a win at They gave Styles a win at Fastlane. I see them giving him another win here because if they were to have Styles lose, I think they would have had him lose at Fastlane and win at Mania if that's what they were going for. But I still see him winning too.
Yeah. There's no way AJ Styles is winning here. The more important thing to me than the outcome of this match is the quality. If this match opens the show, this could be one of the greatest openers in WrestleMania history. I think they are going to be able to put on a match on the level of Owen versus Bret Hart. That is.
Yeah,
I
I also remember reading somewhere that Chris Jericho. It was I believe TLC like 2014, I think, or where it was tables, ladders, chairs, and stairs, and the Intercontinental title match opened the show. It ended up being probably the best match on the show with Ziggler and Harper.
Yeah,
And I think Chris Jericho went on Twitter or said in an interview, people were asking him why would they put this match on first, and Jericho said, "You either want to be wrestle first or you want to wrestle last.
yeah,
You don't want to be in between because if you have a good match in between, people remember the opening match more and the closing match more than anything in the center."
exactly. So I
So,
think if they open, they will have a chance to put on one of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time.
all right. After this one, or next, is the Intercontinental title ladder match between Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Dolph Ziggler, Zack Ryder, Sin Cara, The Miz, and Stardust.
Why? Why?
Okay, I like. There's only three people in this match I could see possibly winning, and that's Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Ziggler. The other four people, it's actually seven. Let's see, like seven wrestlers. I don't see Zack Ryder winning. I don't see Sin Cara winning. I don't see The Miz winning, and I don't see Stardust winning.
Yeah, as much as I would love Long Island Ice Z to win, not going to happen. I think Kevin Owens is going to retain here for sure, and this will be an entertaining match, but it's not the match I wanted to see because I wanted to see Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn in a straight up one-on-one singles match. But
I think what this will do, though, is I think Kevin Owens will also retain, but it will also set up or further the feud between him and Sami Zayn for other matches down the road.
I hope so
I
because
mean, that feud, like, kind of, it never really stopped, so it's a good way to, like, kind of, like, restart it. I mean, it kind of restarted at the Royal Rumble when he came out and attacked Kevin Owens.
yeah, and that's the thing is like they haven't give most people who have not watched NXT any reason to care about Sami Zayn. So when you say the feud never stopped, for casual WWE fans, the feud never started. You know,
Yeah,
a
that
lot
too.
of people out there have not watched NXT and they don't know, why these people hate each other and the WWE has given us no reason to care.
Yeah, so maybe with this, they'll give us, or at least, like, the people that only watch the main roster stuff it'll be a start to the feud for them.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. They'll
Possibly.
use this as a catalyst to start a feud or create some sort of story and give people some sort of reason to care for Sami Zayn.
All right, so we're going with Kevin Owens on that. Next, we have our Divas, or I hate calling it that, but the Divas Championship triple threat match between Charlotte with Ric Flair, Becky Lynch, and Sasha Banks. This is kind of going to be hard to predict. I don't see Charlotte winning, but also they put Becky in a situation where she probably kind of has to win.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I
Sasha, like, I mean, Sasha Banks doesn't need the title to be like the best in the company. But I mean, I probably still see her winning though.
yeah, I there can be a case to be made for all three women to win, and I think it would not be it wouldn't be crazy to put your money on any one of these women, um, because I think they all have compelling stories. They all are good enough to carry the division. But I see Sasha Banks winning. I think I, I have to believe that in my heart of hearts, the WWE know how special Sasha Banks is and what they've got in her. And I have to believe that they're going to give her this moment to kind of crown her at WrestleMania because she is that damn good. If I'm going to steal a line from Triple H, um, so my money is on Sasha Banks, and I think that there's no better person because if you follow the dirt sheets and you read the reports, a report came out today. There's a rumor that the WWE has commissioned a new women's championship belt that is specifically not a Divas title, and they're kind of rebranding the division. If that is true, and I'm not saying it is, I'm not saying it isn't, I'm just saying I saw a rumor about that. Um, to me, there's no better person to usher that in than Sasha Banks. So I'm gonna put my money on her.
Yep. So same here. I mean, like if this was just Charlotte and let's say Sasha wasn't involved, I would see Becky Lynch winning. I still see Becky Lynch winning at some point, but just not here.
Yeah, yeah, I do too.
Because I think like we've compared her to Daniel Bryan, where she's really over, but they're kind of building that underdog character for her, and I think they can build it a little bit longer. And I don't think a loss is going to really hurt.
Yeah, a good underdog story is built over long periods of time. So I'm not too worried if she loses because these losses just kind of add fuel to her fire and add, layers to her character. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and also like she's only been in this underdog role really for just like a few months when it started with Charlotte kind of like cheating to get a win, and then Ric Flair got involved in the title match, and then Sasha Banks got involved and was kind of
Yeah,
not a face, not a heel really, but I still see Sasha Banks winning.
yeah,
All right, so let me see where we're at. Next up, we have two matches left. So we have Shane McMahon versus The Undertaker in a Hell in a Cell match. So when this was announced, I don't watch Raw, so I had to watch the highlights. People were mentioning Shane McMahon coming back. I'm like, okay, that's kind of out of nowhere because he's been gone since like 2010 maybe.
yeah,
And then when they announced it was going to be a match against The Undertaker, it was just like, okay, that's kind of strange too. And then they made it a Hell in a Cell match. So at first it was just really weird booking, but then the more I thought about it, the more I got on board, and the more they've shown Shane McMahon doing the crazy stuff that he used to do still. I think this would probably be one of the better matches of the. It's probably between Dean Ambrose and Lesnar. This is probably the second match I'm looking forward to the most.
yeah.
I just want to see what I just kind of want to see what Shane does. But
Let's let's just take a moment to remember how freaking awesome Shane McMahon is. When he returned, my wife and I both jumped off the couch and just started yelling. We were so excited uh, for the prodigal son of the WWE to come back. Shane McMahon is so good at what he does, except for punching. His punches suck. But other than that, he's really good. And this is going to be an awesome match. I don't know what they're going to do, but they're going to do something amazing. And I'm really looking forward to it. I don't think they're going to jump off the top of the cell as much as I would love to see it. I don't think it's going to.
I don't think even Shane would like because like at Hell in a Cell a couple years ago, it was mentioned. I think like Ambrose was in an interview and said something about them purposely building the cell higher now to like dissuade people from actually jumping off.
Yeah. Um,
I don't see that happening, but I see some crazy spots happening, similar to the table spot from Raw, where Shane laid out the Undertaker with a TV monitor and then did the turnbuckle elbow drop, which after watching it a few times, it looks like he pretty much he missed. It looked like only his arm really hit the Undertaker, but it still looked awesome.
yeah. I think that was really risky. So close to WrestleMania to take such a risky bump, but it's fine.
Yeah,
Um, this is also another one that's hard to predict. But the more I think about it, the more I think that they just brought Shane McMahon in for a one-off story, and that after WrestleMania he's going to go back to whatever his normal life was, and that's going to be that. As
yeah, and
much,
then him giving up this box of secrets or whatever that is.
yeah,
I I don't really know. As much as I would like to see Shane like actually like run Raw or run Raw as like just like the face of Raw, I think that would be cool. But I don't know if they'll actually do.
yeah. I don't know either, especially with the stipulation that if the Undertaker loses, this will be his last WrestleMania, which is not necessarily a retirement. It just means that he won't perform at WrestleMania anymore. So um, I think the Undertaker is going to win. I would love for Dolph Ziggler to interfere and help the Undertaker win, and kind of we get corporate Ziggler. I think that would be a really cool moment for
That could be
him.
interesting.
And
Some people are speculating that Vince, and some other predictions I was reading, that Vince might try to interfere and then accidentally cost Undertaker the match.
I would be okay with that.
I could see
I
it going either way, but
Yeah, it really could go either way, but the more I think about it, the more I just think that because of all the injuries, that Shane McMahon was just basically playing, D essentially because that everyone else is out with an injury.
yeah, I think if Seth Rollins was healthy and working, this match probably wouldn't be happening
Probably not. It would probably be Undertaker versus John Cena or
or
you know
something like that.
someone else.
But yeah, I can see Undertaker winning. I can see Shane winning, but I'm gonna write down Undertaker for
Yeah, I'm
prediction.
gonna go with Undertaker.
And finally, we have our WWE World Title match between Triple H and Roman Reigns. As much as I don't want to see Roman Reigns win, he's probably going to win.
Yeah, and I've said a couple times so far that the match
Actually, I'm
itself.
I'm not so like I wouldn't be so mad if I wouldn't say mad, but I don't really get mad at it. But I would be more all right with um Reigns winning if they did a double turn and turned him heel title.
I think that is what I think is going to happen because, like I said, more interesting than this match is the implications afterwards. I think Reigns is turning heel for sure. I think that
It's
they're
like we already hate I hate is a bad word to use, but
not hate. You're right. It's
a
not
lot of
hate.
people already dislike Roman Reigns. Now the WWE should actually give us a reason to dislike him
Right.
if
It
he's a
would be.
heel. To face, it's not hard to dislike him, but it makes it people are like, well, why are you booing him when he's the face, kind of thing.
Yeah, they need to turn him face and just kind of, or sorry, turn him heel, and let the face turn from that happen organically. Um, it's just there's no reason to not turn him heel. People want to boo him. Let us boo him. Um,
Yeah, because we know whenever Seth Rollins comes back, I mean, he left as a
oh,
heel. Whenever he comes back, he's coming back as a face, even if that's not how it's booked.
dude, when Seth Rollins comes back, he is going to be the hottest face since Shawn Michaels. He is going to be Shawn Michaels City. That's what it's going to be, and nothing is going to stop that. And let us boo Roman Reigns. And the way I think that it's going to happen, I think it could happen one of two ways. I think Vince could come out and screw Triple H, help Roman Reigns, and it we turns out we get corporate Reigns. I think that could work, and I think corporate Reigns would actually be a good character because he said in a couple of interviews, I'm just here getting rich, and for me, it's about the money. So let him have that.
Yeah,
That
and also there was an old interview, like an old NXT interview, where it was essentially corporate Reigns. It wasn't corporate, but he was kind of like,
he was in a suit, right?
yeah, he was in a suit, and somebody's like, "Hey, I want to ask you some questions," and Roman Reigns was like checked his watch. He's like, "I don't have time for this," and then left without
Yeah,
even doing
that
the
was
interview.
good. I've seen the one you're talking about, and that was a good interview. Like Roman Reigns has the ability; he just needs to be given the proper content. And the reason I think a heel turn is coming because you'll notice if you've watched the highlights, he is no longer coming from the crowd. He is now coming out from the entrance where all the other wrestlers come out from. Um, so I think that is a sign that they could be turning him heel. I think another way they can do it is have The Rock come out to celebrate with him after his win, and then he turns heel on The Rock and just beats the crap out of him. I think that would be very good too.
That could work too, because apparently, I mean, before Seth Rollins got hurt, the match was supposed to be Triple H and The Rock, and there were some like insurance issues that prevented that from happening. So I wouldn't be surprised if The Rock said, "Okay, I don't want to do a full match, but I'll come out and like take a spear or something like that,
Yeah.
or whatever the insurance issue was. I don't know, but I think just taking like one spot would probably be more likely. I wouldn't mind seeing that happen either, because everybody loves The Rock. So comes out, attacks The Rock, but then do you set up The Rock and Roman Reigns for next WrestleMania? Do you do a year-long thing for that?
You don't even have to do that. You can, turning heel on The Rock can just be a means to an end. I think that um, it
Yeah,
doesn't.
it doesn't have to spin out into something else.
Right. It doesn't have to lead to its own thing. And plus, if my fantasy booking, right, would be Dean Ambrose winning against Brock Lesnar. He's your next top face. Rock turns heel, and not The Rock. Roman Reigns turns heel, and our next major feud for the title is champion Roman Reigns versus Dean Ambrose. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, and
So,
then whenever Seth Rollins comes back, he can be in there as well.
dude,
And
put
then you get your Shield triple threat at whenever that is.
right. That's like an awesome SummerSlam or even WrestleMania match. A Shield triple threat would be fantastic.
Yeah,
So
I wouldn't mind waiting a year to get that. I mean, SummerSlam would be good too, but you have your heel in Roman Reigns, your face in Dean Ambrose, and then when Seth Rollins comes back, he's going to be like I said, he's going to be a face even if they book him as a heel.
yeah,
It's kind of like when Austin turned heel, people still didn't want to boo him, and when Rock turned heel initially, people were still chanting along with him even though he told them not to.
yeah.
But I see Reigns winning, and like I said, if they handle it correctly, it could be good. If they just do a heel turn, if it's just a straight up, beats Triple H and that's it, I don't think it's gonna be. I think it'll be bad. But
Right, and as much as I like to say, I really feel a heel turn coming. We all know how much Vince McMahon loves to uh, be belligerent and stick to his guns and say, no, I'm not saying that I'm wrong. We're going down with the ship. I will bankrupt this company if it means you guys will cheer for the person I tell you to cheer for. Um, Not that he would actually bankrupt the company, but you know how
yeah,
uh,
I mean,
Vince McMahon can be in these situations. So it's quite possible that the night will just end with him standing tall, getting booed out of the building as a face. It's
I
possible.
kind of hope not. I mean, I hope they do some kind of swerve where last year's ending WrestleMania I thought was really good with Rollins cashing in, and then you have this year. You're not gonna have anybody cashing in because that's already been cashed in, but you can have him turning heel, and then maybe the next night on Raw, like explaining why he turned heel. If or he might even just say, "I don't feel like I need to explain myself to anybody," kind of thing.
Yeah, it'd be perfect. Make him the silent badass, just as a heel. There are so many different routes that you can go for a heel Reigns, and all of them work.
Yeah, like he's still not particularly good on the mic, so even if he's heel, he could just attack the baby faces and that's it.
And you can get him a manager. I don't see why um, he can't have a mouthpiece. There are so many good people.
Yeah,
And,
and, I mean there were rumors last year that it was going to be Paul Heyman was going to turn on Lesnar and align with Reigns. I don't know if he needs Paul
that would have been
Heyman,
fun.
but I'm still looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to, like I said, the matches, Hell in a Cell and then the Ambrose and Reigns match, and I'm interested to see what they do with the world title as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be a good match, for sure. Roman Reigns is not as bad as people like to say he is. Um, so I think that'll be a good match, and any match you put Triple H in is just, I mean, did you watch Roadblock, by the way?
Yeah,
Okay, so we know Triple H, to me right now, Triple H and Dean Ambrose is my number one match of the year. So we know what Triple H can do. So I think there is a possibility of it being a very good match, but again, it's all going to come down to the outcome. We've seen time after time how a weird ending completely can ruin a match. It happened with The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. It had
it happened with the Hell in a Cell with Bray Wyatt interfering,
exactly with
all that.
Ambrose and Rollins. So we know that a botched ending can really ruin a match. So as long as they get the ending right, I think this could be an awesome match.
It should be. And I've got all our predictions written down, so when I get home from work on Sunday, I'll probably miss like the pre-show and maybe the first match. I'll go back and watch those afterward, but I'll be watching and see what's going on.
Well,
I'll
I'll
be
be there.
tweeting it out as well. And I think that's going to do it for this episode. Why don't you tell people about where they can follow you on Twitter and your comic podcast?
So if you like pop culture, you like comic books, TV shows, movies, go to the epiccomicshow.com or follow the Comic Book Show on iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts. And actually not tomorrow night, Saturday night, I'm going to be doing a WrestleMania preview special, very similar to this one, but maybe a little bit different. I don't know. I'll
That's
be
all
doing
good.
that with my wife and one of my friends who we're traveling with, so that'll be fun. EpicComicsShow.com, at Epic Comics Show on Twitter.
All right, cool. You can follow me on Twitter at Iceworm, and you can follow Aaron at Aaron Steinberg. We want to thank everybody for listening and watching. This will be up on YouTube as well, so youtube.com/iceworm if you want to watch the video version of this. And I think this video thing worked out pretty well, so I think we're gonna try doing this probably for, I think it's Extreme Rules is the next one, I think.
I think they canceled Extreme Rules, if I remember
Oh,
correctly.
okay, yeah. Then there's some other pay-per-view. Maybe they
I think
changed
they
it.
moved, I think they moved Payback up a month earlier, so after this it will be Payback.
Okay, cool. Yeah, whatever pay-per-view is next, we'll be doing our predictions on that. So that's gonna do it for this episode. Thanks for watching and listening.